Welcome to the Self-Determination Channel and to our first In the Spotlight interview. I'm Cindy Bentley. Today I'm talking with Marquis. We are talking about our experiences as people of color. Marquis is a young man that lives with autism. He has been a Special Olympic athlete for 16 years. He's also a board member for Special Olympics. Marquis wrote a book about how he lives with autism. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for asking to interview me. I really admire you and I'm inspired by you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. The first question I'm going to ask you today is, what do you want people to know about you as a person of color and a person with a disability?
I'm very proud to be an Afro-American male. Sometimes I hate that people like me or you have to go through hardship just because of our color. Like people will look at our color before they even get to know us.
Amen.
So, basically, as a person of color living with a disability, I'm just feel like I'm just a human being that realized that I have to be part of this world with all people of all races and all abilities and disabilities, or all whatever sexual preferences. And I just want to be a human being that just live in the world and just live in peace and harmony like everyone else.
I like that. Thank you for that. Describe a time when you felt discrimination.
I happened to be at the Astor Hotel, and I seen this one white woman, looks like she was about in her 20s. And when the white lady seen me, she looked kind of startled. And so like she didn't show any discrimination, but she looked afraid, like she was afraid of me to come on the elevator with her. And you know, I just like kind of said hi and I just kept walking.
Yeah, you always get these looks.
Right. And that's one thing I hate. Like sometimes a person might give me a weird look because I'm black. I don't know. I just kind of walk past them like, hey, I'm not thinking about you like that.
Me either. I don't put a black and white in anything. And we all have to live in this community together, like you said.
Amen. And then another time I was at the YMCA. I think I was playing basketball with some white guys one time, and he's like, next time pass the ball more in, nigga. And I just told him, I was like, hey, you're not black. So I was like saying, you shouldn't really use that N word. And then he was like saying, well, you guys in hip hop, the black guys that look like you in hip hop, they use the nigga word. And I was like, well, that's true. But I was like, you're not Afro American. And I was like saying that the word Nigga, which a lot of Afro Americans use, which we shouldn't use that. We should not refer to each other as the N, because that has a bad history. And so I told him, I was like, when the rappers like Tupac or Snoop Dogg, when they use that word nigga, they mean it as a sign, as a endearment, as friend. It's spelt different. But when racist white people would call us the Nigger word, that was like to degrade us. So I had to explain to him, even though it doesn't make sense. I still feel like hip hop rappers shouldn't. None of us should use the N word.
Thank you for that. So, do you think, are you more accepted as a person of color, or do you think there's still a lot more work to be done in this area?
I'll have to say yes and no, because it depends who I'm hanging around. If I go to the YMCA in Wauwatosa, some of the white people there do accept me if they got to know me over a period of time. And then, some white people are just stuck in their old ways and they won't get the chance to know me. I think it's still a lot more work to be done. When I was at the YMCA one time and I was cleaning up, I did housekeeping, and it was like an 86-year-old white man. He seen me collecting towels in the bin, and he was like, "Oh, look at that monkey push the bin."
How did you handle that? Do you talk supervisor?
Yeah, I told my supervisor, because I was very upset. You know, if someone calls you out of your name for no reason and you didn't do anything, trust me, I got in my feelings about it. And I was like, why would you call me that where I didn't do anything to you? And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, Marquis. You know, I'm stuck in my old ways. You know, I kind of grew up that way, being kind of racist, and I'm an old man and it's hard for me to change. And I was like, well, you know, that's very inappropriate. So I think it starts with each individual person maybe having like empathy in their heart. And if they understand where we're coming from as Black people and they have an open heart, then, you know, that's what's going to make the world a better place.
Thank you so much for that comment. I learned something myself.
You're welcome.
So, what would the world look like without racism?
Oh, that's a tough question.
I think one example would be that we all be on the same playing field. We wouldn't be segregated in different parts of the city. We all could live in harmony together.
Right, yeah, we'll be able to live in harmony. But imagine if we were all the same race, all the same color, it would be a boring world. You know, I guess, you know, we have diversity for a reason, and it shows how strong our Black people really are too, to deal with adversity and trials and tribulations.
I think you're right. I think it might be kind of boring if we're all were the same. You're right about that. That was very well said. I have one last question. Is there anything that you would like to say to the self-advocates watching?
To all the self-advocates, I just thank you all for your work. Just keep doing what you're doing. You may not know it, but you motivate me and a million other people with disabilities. The woman that I'm getting interviewed by now, Cindy Bentley, published a book. And I never thought that I would be able to publish a book. My dad is a big motivator for me publishing. And Cindy Bentley, just reading Cindy Bentley's story and seeing that all the trials and tribulations that she's been through, that made me not afraid to tell my story. So to all the self-advocates, just remember that when you tell your story, you're touching someone else's life and you're giving them the strength to share their story.
Thank you, Marquis, for being a guest on the Self-Determination channel today. It was a delight to have you, and you're an inspiration to me too.
Thank you, Cindy. Bless you.
On our next In the Spotlight interview, I will be talking about my book. Be sure to subscribe. You will be notified when my interview is posted. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe